my friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah. I am the artist behind, the camera, the one that's doing the painting, etc. Anyways, let's get into it. Today, I am painting a papaya because I did a strawberry painting last week. See previous videos for what I'm talking about. And I was obsessed. Fell in love with the whole food study type thing. Don't worry, there will be more food studies coming in the future because, again, I'm obsessed. So much fun, really enjoyed it. Anyhow, I am using gouache. I am using a mix of both Holbein and Winsor & Newton. I have a raw umber, or burnt umber. I have burnt umber, in Winsor & Newton along with a white. And then I have the primary set from Holbein. My first layers of paint, I usually go pretty watered down and then layer on a little bit thicker as I go through the layers. So the background is a nice bold, bright pink. And then when I put in that shadow from the harsh sunlight, I made it really a lot thicker and crisp. Yeah. I will put down in the description the photo that I used for this. Now, granted, I did change it up a bit because I like to play around with the colors and lighting and stuff. So it's not the exact papaya that I painted, but it is a papaya. Speaking of papayas, I'm not a fan. Do you like papayas? I don't find them particularly tasty. I also don't like a whole lot of tropical fruit. I don't think they're very good.
But
I think they look really cool. They are way more interesting than, an apple or an orange. Like, they're just really cool looking. This painting, though, a papaya, really challenged me here. I wish I had, here, I am going in, with some orange to create that flesh of the papaya. And I wish I had gone a little bit lighter with it and could have used a more watercolor technique and gone from light to dark in a little bit lighter and softer of a hand. I went in pretty bold with the darker colors, and I kind of wish I had held back just a touch so that way the lighter areas could have just been the lighter first layers of paint and not have to go back in later with lighter colors. I wish it had just been the lighter colors underneath. That could have been my lighter areas like you do with watercolor. But I did not do that. But that's okay. It still turned out all right. I'm working on my confidence with gouache still. It is a newer-ish medium for me. I have been using gouache for about a year now. And consistently, I'd say I use it a few times a week. There are some stretches where I paint every single day for a week. And there are other times where I don't get around to painting for several weeks. So I'm still learning. And it's a fun process, but I used to mainly paint with watercolors. So watercolor and gouache are similar, but not exact. Here I am going in and painting the seeds. I have areas where I have individual seeds painted. And then I have darker areas where it's just solid black, which indicates more seeds. And then I will go back in a minute and kind of lighten up some of the areas to indicate individual seeds within those mass of dark areas. Here you can see me trying to lighten up those areas that I made just a little too dark because, there's sunlight shining down on this papaya, so I needed some light reflecting off of it. And because I went in with a heavy hand with those dark colors, I had to kind of lighten up some spots to kind of show that there is light reflecting off of the moisture of the papaya. Here I'm going in with some white and adding some area where there's like some flesh like hanging over the edge of the seeds. Now I could have gone in with the orange and the yellow and done this, but it would have taken way more paint. So instead I went in with a really thick white to put those areas in, and then later I will go over them with the orange and the yellow on top of that. It's just a lot easier to have a white base sometimes rather than trying to layer a color on like 10 times. Plus, being as there's colors underneath it, that will affect how the colors look on top. Now I'm going in, adding all those individual seeds, you know, to add some depth to the center of the papaya. So I'm just taking some brown, some mid-tone browns, because I didn't want it too light because the seeds were actually all pretty dark. So I used a mid-tone brown and just kind of was very sporadic and random and didn't think about it too much. Just kind of went all over the place, adding in these little brown circles on top of the black. Then from there, I went and took some like lighter colors. I used not white. I used kind of like a slightly lighter brown to indicate the highlights and where the sun is shining down on this papaya and those individual seeds. And again, same as when I went in with the lighter brown for the seeds on the top. I was very random about it, didn't think too much, just made sure that the light was coming from the same angle because it would look kind of silly if I had light going all the way around it, or if I had taken the highlights and put them on one side for part of it and the other side for part of them. Like, was random about which seeds I put it on, but stayed consistent in what angle the highlights were going on. That's something I really struggled with when I first started painting. I would just like put in shadows wherever I kind of wanted or highlights wherever I wanted, not really thinking about where the light is coming from and how it is affecting the subject that it is on. So that's like one thing, like if I were to give advice, be aware of your lighting. And it was one of those things I probably didn't realize too much until I was a photographer. Yeah, you kind of have to pay attention to your lighting and where that's coming from and how it affects your subject. So that really kind of has helped me in my painting. All right, so here I am going back over those white areas that I had painted and am adding that light orange. And as you can see, it's going on so much smoother than it would have been if I had tried layering that orange on top of black. It would have been really, really difficult and wouldn't have been as clean and nice as it is with the white down first. And then going back in again with the slightly orange tinged white to add some highlights to the overhanging flesh over those seeds. So then I'm just kind of at the end adding a few little touch-ups with highlights and then with some shadows, and then just darkening up some areas of the flesh, because as the paint dries you kind of see the areas you need to add darker shadows or lighter highlights, because gouache goes on one color and then kind of dries as another one. So as all of it had dried, I realized I needed to add just a little bit more depth to it with some darker flesh color. So just went in at the end and kind of touched up a few things here and there. And then here we are. Ta-da! A papaya. Also, what a fun word to say. Papaya. Okay, anyways, thank you so much for joining along and painting this papaya with me. If you don't already, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, hit that like. I also have an Instagram where you can check out all my art, and I'd love it if you tag me in a photo of your finished papaya painting. That'd be totally cool. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Bye!